Welcome to Dear Diary, the self love podcast. This is your place to dive deep into personal development and self love inspiration, connecting you to your intuition, your body, and your higher self, while unlocking and activating your confidence and inner power, inspiring you to show up and choose you over everything that gets thrown in your way, instead of listening to the limiting beliefs running around inside of your head. We will explore a variety of topics from conquering fear, letting go of doubt, self awareness, mom guilt, trusting your intuition, along with a ton of self care tools that I'll be sharing along the way. With solo sessions and a magnetic guest list of remarkable souls, this is my platform to empower others while using my voice to share my self love, growth, and healing journey. I hope that this podcast serves you well and you get as much value from it as I do sharing it. So here we go. Welcome to the day 3 of the 5-day self-love experience. I hope these last 2 episodes have served you well. Today, we are going to talk about how to nurture yourself. We are faced every day with so much stress and anxiety and things to do and overwhelming amounts of commitments and chores and tasks and obligations and our bodies and our minds and our spirits absorb each of these experiences and they store them all in some capacity. And with so much tension being held in our bodies and our spaces and the commitments and the engagements and these daily practices, if you can find a way to nurture yourself with compassion and love and tenderness and gratitude, if you can cultivate that more in your daily routine, it can become such a pivotal part of your healing journey. In these recent years, I've given myself permission to nurture myself, take up space, listen to my body, find acceptance in the rest, like intentional rest, like rest, actual rest, not scrolling on social media, not, feeling guilty because I'm watching TV when I should be working, like rest. Giving myself permission and the acknowledgement that I am worthy and deserving of caring for myself in a more intentional way than I have ever known. That level of permission is the first step. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour long practice each day. It literally can look like 5 or 10 minutes of just intentional time with yourself to honor what feels good for you. And so when I'm caught in a web of tasks and calendar events and meetings and commitments, I do leave a little bit of space in my schedule to access this key balance of nurturing what feels good. This is where I make intentional time for my self care practices. Sometimes it looks like 5 minutes just to do a breathwork practice. Sometimes it looks like getting up a little bit early so that I can have hot coffee. Sometimes it looks like canceling a call or a meeting because I need some stillness in my life. And it just reminds me that I am worthy of nurturing myself and I don't have to get caught up in all of this stuff. In fact, nurturing myself and just being more gentle and kind and compassionate to myself is what often brings me the most peace, even on the most stressful of days. Like literally just practicing self compassion. Oh, it makes a lot of sense why you would be stressed today. You've got a lot on your plate. Let me look at that list, see if I could take something off of it. What's the least important thing on that list that could be done tomorrow? And then in that time frame, can I insert maybe a little self-care time to nurture my body? That power of nurturing your body, it comes from a committed practice of embracing like where I'm at without any judgment or expectations or trying to shift it, right? Like I get it. You have a crazy day, makes a lot of sense. You committed to a lot. And then sometimes nurturing yourself literally looks like honoring my needs, even amongst the chaos. And sometimes that looks like remembering to drink more water, allowing myself some intentional rest in between the busy spurts, right? It doesn't have to be this grand thing. Just drink more water. Maybe I'm feeling crazy because I'm dehydrated. Drink more water. Honor my body. In order to move through this life with mindfulness and intention, it's key to like gain a deeper awareness and understanding of ourselves and what we're experiencing in that moment. Getting grounded in an intimate knowing of not only who we are, but how we are with each experience. If you know that you get really stressed after you get home from work and the kids are home from school and there's chaos all around the house and there's dinner to be made and chores to be done and dishes to be done and laundry to be folded, and it just tends to be like that. I call it the twilight hour of just like craziness. Maybe you put your headphones in and listen to a podcast while you're folding the laundry. Maybe that would feel really, really nurturing. Maybe before you begin all these chores and tasks and things and dinner and da 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 da, you communicate to your family that mom's gonna take 15 minutes, 5 minutes to have a hot cup of tea and just breathe for a second on the couch. Don't bother me. Don't ask me questions. I just need 5 minutes. Setting this foundation with yourself is such a great starting point as you continue to embark along your self-love journey. It's this invitation to create a foundation for yourself. Just from a place of curiosity, like what does my body need now? How could I nurture myself right now? It's not tomorrow, it's not this week, right now. Maybe setting your intention in the morning, in the beginning of your day. How can you nurture yourself today? And it'll look different every day, and that's okay. Some days I like really desire to be with nature just for the simplicity of like smelling the earth and grounding into it and just like being with the breeze, and it's a nice day and and like I said before, some days it looks like canceling my entire schedule and just taking a much needed like mental health day to rest and be still. Sometimes it looks like taking a break from feeding my body junk and realizing that I really need to be fueling it with some nourishing home cooked meals. Sometimes it looks like your typical self care bubble bath, right? Which actually is a perfect opportunity to nurture my body after a really long day. An intentional bubble bath, though. You get the difference between, like, okay, I'm just going to take a bath, and the whole time you're feeling guilty, or maybe you have your phone in your hand and you're scrolling on TikTok while you're in the bubble bath, and it's just like you're rushing because you feel like you're guilty for being in there, and you should be doing something else, and you hear all the chaos in your home and blah blah blah. Mm-mm. That bubble bath, that intentional time to nurture yourself, to love on yourself. Maybe you use some bath salts, some bubbles. Maybe you pour yourself a glass of wine or a cup of tea. Maybe you bring in a book. Maybe you put your phone down. Maybe you listen to music. Maybe you meditate. intentional opportunities. Nurturing yourself by just taking a moment to pause, reflect, and get still. It'll open up a space for you, I promise, where you can really tap into what's going on inside of you and learn to honor those thoughts and emotions and feelings without any judgments or desires to fix it. And rooted in this space is where you can connect to yourself on a whole nother level, understanding that each thought, each emotion, each feeling, you can honor all of it and then go from there. What do you need? How can I honor myself? I'm feeling really sensitive today. I have a lot of emotions. Okay. What would feel good to honor yourself in that moment? When I'm feeling super emotional, less is more. I take things off my list and I replace it with, yeah, you get to go sit on the couch and watch Food Network for a half hour. You absolutely do. When I have meeting after meeting, call after call, and I'm feeling like my energy is getting drained and I'm feeling tired, I get to take a pause, and instead of doing the dishes in between my breaks, I get to do breath work or I get to meditate. Absolutely. But I wouldn't know that I needed that if I didn't check in to see what's going on inside of me. You see what I mean? It's like with that curiosity, you can learn to connect with yourself and see what do you need. And then you can access more of what you need to be nurtured. Holding space for yourself and tending to all of those pieces, all of those emotions with compassion, instead of just moving on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And before you know it, at the end of the day, you're just like, right? That got out of hand. I was on autopilot all day. Now I feel like trash. And I want to drink an entire bottle of wine and I'm yelling at my kids, right? When we show up and connect to ourselves in each new moment, just checking in, just getting curious. We practice arriving in our bodies with the intention to understand. Listen to the message that's inside of you. What is this message trying to relay to you? And then taking that message, using the information that you receive, and allowing it to gently guide you towards a practice that will nurture your needs the best. And again, this is going to change from moment to moment. And as you become aware of what's going on, you'll know how to nurture yourself and it'll get easier and easier. Because you'll start understanding yourself, becoming aware, start relating to yourself a little bit more and connecting with ourselves and our bodies and our intuitions. Some weeks I am I am on a journaling kick and all I want to do is write. I want to write, I want to write, I want to write. And then other weeks I stray completely from the journaling and I don't even touch it. I don't even look at it. I don't even think about it. But one thing remains the same. I give myself compassion and grace for allowing my practices and how I nurture myself to ebb and flow as I go, as I'm reacting and ebbing and flowing between my experiences. I choose to nurture myself however my body guides me to. And this isn't really, I used to think that this was avoidance, like, oh, well, you don't want to journal this week because you got a lot going on and you just don't want to, you just don't want to sit with it and be with it. Mm-mm. That's not what it is. I wanted to breathe this week. I wanted to be with nature this week. I wanted to record a lot of podcasts this week because I was feeling really inspired. So instead of taking the time to journal, I took the time to do those things, and that's okay, right? So just check in with that, because if it does feel like avoidance and it does feel like you're distracting yourself from what would normally feel nourishing and now it doesn't, but you're doing something else that doesn't really feel nourishing, like check in with that, because I think that there's something there for you there if that is what you're experiencing. But if it's not and it doesn't feel like distraction or avoidance, then allow it to ebb and flow. Coming back to that gratitude piece, right? That being in gratitude and creating a practice that honors each part of this process of life that we are experiencing, especially those of us who are on this self-discovery journey, this healing journey, this growth journey. It is hard. It is wild. It is a roller coaster ride, right? Like prior to going into this journey and when I was on autopilot, I didn't think about this stuff, right? For those of you listening now that are not on this journey, you're probably like, this girl is whack. She's thinking too deep about all this stuff. But it's a lot to heal parts of us. It's a lot to do inner child work and shadow work and integration and digging out the skeletons and letting the bears out of the closet. Like, it's a lot. Have gratitude and honor yourself for feeling all that you felt and for doing all that you've done up to this moment. Holding space for gratitude for all that you are in this present moment as you continue to commit to your practices, as you continue to allow them to ebb and flow as they feel good, and honoring all that you are becoming on this path, finding the beauty of your evolution. Right? Like, I'm not the same person today that I was yesterday. Like, that's wild. And it's true. Acknowledging that the fact is that this human experience is full of ups and downs. And we will face stress and we will face hardships. And we must seek the practices, the rituals, the routines, the moments that offer us opportunities to truly nurture ourselves. And through these practices of awareness and compassion and love, notice how your world begins to shift. Notice how the more you nurture yourself, those around you start to pick up on that. Allow that energy to radiate into all that surrounds you. Because here's the thing. If you're not nurturing yourself, if you're not nurturing your body and treating it with love and respect and healthy boundaries and daily practices and routines and rituals that fuel your soul, nobody else is going to do it for you. You got to be the one to show up for you. So I invite you now to think, journal, whatever, of a few ways in which it would feel really, really nourishing to honor yourself today. What would feel so good to you? And then go do that thing. Take that extra thing off your list. Take the pause that you know you need. Drink the water that you know your body is craving for. Give yourself permission. And if you need me to, I give you permission to nurture yourself. Take up space. Listen to your body and allow yourself some rest, some pauses, some breaks. You are so worthy and so deserving of caring for yourself on a much deeper level than you currently are. I give you permission to be intentional with your time, with your energy, with your tasks. I give you permission to nurture yourself and be gentle on yourself, finding whatever brings you peace, even if that looks different every day. And that is all for today's episode. Feel free to share this episode or tag me in a story or a post where you found something that feels really good and nurturing for yourself. I would love to hear about your experiences. I hope this episode served you well. And until next time, I'll see you around. And that is it for today's episode. I hope that these words activated and inspired something inside of you. And if they did, please share this episode with a friend or on your social media, and feel free to tag me so that I can say thank you. The more people who hear these words along their path, the more we can help inspire and heal the world. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Sending love and light until next time. I'll see you soon.